And just like that, podcast number 102 is on the way. I'm here with Maria Xiomara Alonzo of, I feel like you wear so many hats, so I'm going to say Debbie Does Disco and Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff Coalition for the Arts.
Yes.
And I also work for Bergdorf Goodman online, which is the sister company of Neiman Marcus Group.
Okay.
So I manage the e-commerce for all women's apparel.
Okay. Nice. So the initial big thing that got me to want you to come on the podcast was not too long ago, I saw you start posting about Debbie Does Disco. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this that Maria's posting? And it was the post with you doing the Bee Gees in the background, and like you were just talking about your record skills, and I love the Bee Gees.
Yeah, right? I love the Bee Gees too.
And you want to talk about swag, them in that Staying Alive, Staying Alive music video, where they're on the train. That is confidence to the fullest.
For sure.
So, and then the next thing was I went to a Debbie Does Disco event with Nancy. Was it 2 months ago? Last month?
It was February 12th, Saturday, and that was actually that was an anniversary to a Valentine event. So a Debbie Does Disco. An actual Debbie, we get invited to do several events, like at bars, at venues, but our heart and joy, like our pride, like our baby is creating warehouse events. We want to keep that underground vibe, definitely all on us. We have full control, so that is the second time that we've had, and that's not typical. We like to do different venues, like change it up, but definitely like I would say our first warehouse it wasn't the first. I need to give us credit, but we've had a Debbie there before, 2 years prior, and that one really blew us away. And I'm like, people are just like, oh, can we do it at the body shop again? It was just it was so mind blowing. Like, you see a body shop and you walk in and it's just a disco. Like you just see, like you walk in and it's completely transformed, and that's what we're known for. So, and it just really just happens. I don't know if it's on purpose or accident, but it's just me and us and our friends getting together. Like we have an idea, and when you walk in, actually I'm even blown away when I go home and I get ready, and it's everything. It's the decorations, it's the love we put into it. The disco ball is lit up, like the lights and the sound and the speakers, and then on top of that, all of our guests are dressed up. So just the vibe of like the people and the crowd and the energy, that's what makes a Debbie Does Disco. So it's not like, I don't even know what it's going to turn out to be, but every single time when I come back, I'm just completely blown away, especially like by the energy, and that's what's the most rewarding part about it.
That's a key word, is energy, because you hit it right on the head. I mean, Nancy and I got there like right on time, so we got to see it evolve from the beginning to like, okay, people are starting to trickle in, like, okay, we see all, like, it looks really dope. Like, it's in the middle of Oak Cliff, and I'm like, am I going to the right location? And you walk to this body shop, and you walk in, and it's like a whole nother world. And y'all have the whole nine. You'll have bartending staff, you'll have people with their products, the vendors having their products out. And man, like, there was nothing like it. It was an experience that...
for sure.
I mean, it sounds corny to say, but that was like the only time I've ever been to an event like that, with that type of music and that type of vibe. Everybody's friendly, everybody's kind of just enjoying the music, and man,
everybody's dancing, that's the whole point.
I'm not one to dance by myself, just standing there, but man, I was dancing by myself, we're just dancing, and man, it was so much fun.
So would you say that, I think, going back to what inspired us to do this, we have, like, you can always chill with your friends, you can always listen to music. Brandon and Mondo, they have the amazing record vinyl collection, shelves and shelves of records. And, the collection just keeps on growing and growing because they're inspired by what we've built. But it really goes back to the original idea, to the original vision of, I'll never forget, Brandon told me, and this goes to, like, we're in the city of Dallas, right? And in Dallas, we've lived here our whole lives. He kind of like, we had like a side conversation, and he was just like, hey, we need to do something with this. We need to do, and when he said this, it was just like us and our friends coming together, and we really did have our own vibe. We were chilling at our friend's loft, and like Brandon was playing the records, and we were just dancing the whole time. We weren't talking to each other. We weren't doing anything but dancing. And so he just had this idea that, like, he was like, we gotta share this with Dallas. We gotta bring Dallas, like, we gotta bring this to Dallas. And I was really not at first, and we always talk about this, which is embarrassing to say, but I was just being honest. Like, it was me and my friends, and I was not totally on board with like exposing our friends to that because of the whole Dallas. Dallas has kind of a reputation of being, you can finish
pretentious.
Yes,
or like
exactly.
Stuck up,
See, I don't even have to say it.
Yeah.
So,
But you gotta remember, Oak Cliff is its own vibe.
Yeah, and so that's what really, and but just like you said that, it started in Oak Cliff.
Exactly.
We started having the Debbies in a bar called Trade Winds, which is, over
I grew up a block away from that bar.
Trade Winds,
right across the street from Ladies' Choice.
It was, so that's where we originally started having them, and like that bar has so much character. Like I used to go in there maybe when I was like 20.
What do they call
with an ID or something?
What do they call those? Not a speakeasy, but a dive
bar.
bar.
Hole in the wall
Hole in the
bar.
wall, dive
and
bar.
I would say it was the last hole in the wall Bishop Arts Oak Cliff bar, right?
The last one.
And so we would have them there, and by the third one, so the first one, it was me, I'll never forget, me, Aurora, and Arely. They're the Debbies too, right? We were the only ones on the dance floor, but we were getting down. And we had this little disco ball, and it was just us, and that's what it was all about. So we always said, this is for us, we're just sharing the vibe. Like, at the end of the night, we're gonna be there dancing together, no matter what. And then by the third one at Trade Winds specifically, it was completely packed. I was seeing people from like parties that I would go to, and I'm like, oh shit, they're here at our party. Like, oh my God. I was like, I'm with Debbie, And then we sold out the bar by like 1:30, like completely sold out the bar, and it was slammed. And that was probably one of our prideful moments, happy moments.
That was when the bag popped open right there.
So that just, so going back to like Dallas and bringing them back to Dallas, of course, like we love Oak Cliff, and like if we could have a choice, we would always want to choose things in Oak Cliff, but we've done events all over Dallas.
That's good because you're spreading the name.
Yeah, and then we still get like a crowd in other places, which is really amazing to see. But like you said, like it built in Oak Cliff, and like when I said I'm seeing people from all these other parties, they're coming to Oak Cliff. Yeah. And I would say maybe like what, it's almost gonna be 3 years ago. Bishop Arts is growing, but I wouldn't say that everyone who was going to events was coming to Oak Cliff. Like they were going to Deep Ellum, or they were going to beauty bars, or going to like those other after hours places, and to see all these people come to our event, that was like, it kind of goes to the vision, to the purpose that we talked about, to what I was so nervous about, like exposing my friends, with these people that I don't know, like I don't think they're gonna, but not that I don't, I love it.
You don't want to put your friends who you care about in a situation where it's kind of like,
I want to protect everybody, but really, it's been really amazing. It's really built our confidence, and just as a group of friends, and we didn't ask to like work like this together, so it's been a lot of, I feel like we've each grown because of it.
That's awesome on so many levels. Just the Oak Cliff, representing Oak Cliff, and you mentioned growth.
Yeah.
From personal perspective, I feel like growth is so important, and events like this can help people. You wouldn't think it, but when you look at something with depth and the layers to it, this is something that could inspire somebody to, it's something where they would have never gone to some beauty bar or something else because they wasn't their right vibe. This can give somebody that just last little bit to like unlock the inner part of themselves that wants to create and do things like this and grow as a person. Yeah,
and you mentioned, I would say that we we thrive on, we like to protect the concept of like, if you know, you know. You know, like we don't like to throw too much out there. So I have felt that some people don't, you know, they're not running to like the chance to go to a Debbie, but they're excited to, and they still will. But it's like they're not really understanding like, oh, what is it about? I've had some friends that I usually go out with to like It'll Do or other clubs, and they're like, what kind of music is it gonna be?
Yeah.
And you know, and I really don't know how to define it, because it's everything, you know, like everything is on a vinyl. It can be original disco music, it can be house music, you know, like it can be hip hop, it can be,
Yeah.
and you know, when we listen to, and that's what, it's an experience, like you said, because you experience Debbie, and Brandon and Mondo had this like such like infinite knowledge of music from the original, you know, vinyl, like all of these vinyls and musicians and like old school DJs, they're the ones that all these hip hop songs, all these like I've heard Drake like sample music from these records that I've heard Brandon play,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm like I recognize this beat, I recognize this sound, and that's what's so magical about it, because you know, like music is infinite and recycles infinitely. So, you know, when you experience that on a vinyl and these like vintage speakers, like it's really like it makes you move. It invokes like this, like, you know,
It sounds like
makes
some tribal,
yeah.
like your
Yeah, it
tribal
really
supposed
is.
to
It's
come out, you
invoking.
know. And that's not even a saying, but that's how I felt. Like, cause like I said, I don't dance, it's,
Yeah.
you know, just by myself. But
Yeah.
man, it really brings it out of you.
Yeah, and really, like, if you're having a good time, everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like I said, it really goes down to the core of us having a good time. And we do, like, it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're running everywhere, but I will say that we're never together at a Debbie. Like, we're never crowded up. The girls, like, even the girls, like, they're in different parts of of our party. And I will never forget, and, you know, they're just dancing. I promise you, you'll see every single one of the girls, and they're just dancing the whole time. So it's like you see someone dance and it makes you want to dance. You know, you feel a little awkward. It makes you move around a little bit. Like, it really does. Like, it's addicting. It's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you have that vibe and you share it with people, like I guess I never really paid attention, but people were like, oh, people don't dance anymore. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean, because all my girls are dancing, you know?
Yeah, you hang with
and
the wrong
that really,
people.
yeah. And you know, and even then, like, I think the movement is getting people to feel good, like you said. Like, they come and they feel so comfortable, and that's what music should make you do. It should make you feel comfortable. It should make you have some kind of feeling.
Be able to dance like nobody's watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Came up with that one myself.
Yeah.
No.
I've never heard that before.
So it's off to a great start. How many years have y'all done this now?
It'll be 3 years in August.
3 years. So I feel like, just from the perspective of the potential, it has the potential to be humongous, even something where y'all could travel across the country and do.
Yes, and we've gone to Houston together. We've had
Okay, I've
2
seen that,
Debbies in
yeah.
Houston, just to give us that credit.
Okay.
And they were really excited about it. We got invited back twice, and this place, it's called 82. I forget, something 82, can't even remember. But they have, the guy who owns it, he has the same concept. It's like an arcade bar club in LA, and, you know, they've even opened the idea to go to LA. So it's
something y'all looking
it's something, so, you know, to like kind of like open that topic. Like, we do have the potential to do everything,
Yeah.
but what we've learned is you learn as you go. Like, you're podcasting, like
Right.
you're like this is what I need to add, this is what I need to take
Okay.
away. So, you know, there was a time when we were just like, okay, every month, and then like we had another one 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks after that, and then you need time to, like, creative minds, you need time to absorb, and then, because you want every single one to be very special.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not giving the same experience that they did last time, and it's just, you feel it, and this is your project, right?
You don't want to rush it.
No, you don't want to rush it. So with that, you know, we've taken trips, and we've listened to music. We've even had our own. We would go on. So during the pandemic, we couldn't have Debbie's, right? Like everything was shut down.
Right.
So we took trips to have Airbnbs, and then that had its own theme too.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, before we even started having the Debbie's, I guess it was even before 3 years ago. We would make flyers for just us getting together.
That
Like
is so dope.
there was so the flyer that we had for so this is probably the third Valentine. Like I told you, we like to anniversary, and the flyer was like it was like a Chicano like cholo like inspired, right? So we had like a tattoo artist do a ball pen ink flyer, and then the Debbie before that it was like this original cover of a vinyl with lips and a cherry. But the original Valentine one that we had at a loft, it was a handkerchief. And it had an embroidery and it had like, it had flower embroidery, but at the corner it has a stitching that says, "I only fuck to vinyl."
Oh,
So, and then that was our,
That is
everyone loved, like, everyone's like, oh shit.
Hell
But it's
yeah.
just like, it's really just like, it's whatever, it's like all these little, like, hints and clues that makes it really unique that people are just like, like going off of the concept, if you know, like, and it just really it inspires people. And with those little hints and clues and like, content that we throw out, like it's very not literal. Like the response we get is like mind blowing. Mm-hmm. The way people come and dress up. Like
Yeah, I wanted to dress up, but I didn't have time.
But you don't have to either.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, man, next time dressing up.
Yeah.
Dressing up, and you're coming next time.
I want everyone
baby.
to come.
Hell yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, and just the story behind it and how it started.
Yeah.
And man,
Yeah, and it's infinite, when you're creative, I can tell all of us we're creative minds, and like creativity, like I use that word, I use forever all the time, like Debbie forever, like whatever forever. But it's true, with music especially, like music is infinite, and creativity is infinite. So one of the things that we like, we have so many things in mind. Like we watch a movie, like, oh, that can be a Debbie. This can be a Debbie. And then once we decide on a theme, everything kind of like blows up after that.
Okay.
Like Brandon does his thing, and he curates the set to the theme.
Okay.
Like the decorations and the inspiration, the makeup, the hair, the outfits, it's a whole lot of fun.
so I'm glad you said the word create again, because it made me think about what you just previously said, how y'all try to do them every so often.
Yeah.
But I feel that creative minds, you need time to, like you said, process it, but also look back on it. Just kind of, it allows you to feel all of it rather than trying, okay, jump to the next thing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it helps you create new ideas for
Yeah.
the next thing.
And like I guess I like staying on the creative part because it's a lot of fun, and that's what really motivates me. And then my friends, like once it gets to, you start arguing with your friends, it gets to like, definitely it's we have to take it seriously, but like if you're not having fun, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's a balance. You gotta walk that line.
Yeah, balance for sure, and everything is balance. So the balance of taking a break, I thrive on being inspired. So when I travel, I'm inspired. When I visit art galleries, when I visit different cities, architecture, I'm definitely drawn by I'm very observant, right? Like I absorb everything that I see in my life, and music especially, like not only like all your senses, detail of the music, like you have to, if you're doing so much in one project, it's going to start repeating, or it's not going to be as new and fresh. And not only is it because you're doing the same thing, so we have to take it upon ourselves to travel to we have our people who inspire us, like, well, why don't you take a trip to go see that favorite artist of yours? That person's also evolving and growing, so you want to evolve. So all the things that brought you to this point, that's gonna, not that it's gonna fade away, but like you have to be constantly be observing and growing. And I get that from traveling, from listening to music, from following my favorite blogs, like who else is creating music. Like not only is it the most popular people, but with creatives, you're meeting creative people. Like Nancy was telling me, that's the best thing about this is you meet other creatives. So I get inspired by, the people I meet. And it's very easy to give advice from your own experiences. So like the girls that we just did that collaboration with, like when we met, like that, you're just so excited to talk about your creative ideas and to share how you grew. So, and people, it's just really amazing to see the different things that creative people are doing.
I feel like especially in the time that we're in now, it's almost the responsibility of all creators to really get down with producing things, because we live in the technology time of the whole history of ever. Social media has really just taken off, and we have to
adapt to it.
Because for the most part, people who are not creators, and there's a million ways you can create, but if you're not a creator, a lot of times you're more prone to be in that mindset of, oh, I don't need to grow anymore, I'm fine the way I'm at. And that's just a whole fuck show in itself, to have that kind of mindset. The creative mind is always wanting to grow, always wanting to learn, always open to new things and experiences. And like I said, in this day and age, it's so important that creators create. So thank you for doing your part, because it's inspiring in itself. You know?
And like you said, creativity, like I can go on. I mean, my passion is art. My passion is music and fashion, and but creative thinking is really what gets you to the next step. Like someone told me recently, we're funny, we're witty, like you can create memes and stuff. Like being witty or being able to joke
on the fly,
make fun on the fly, that's actually a sign of intelligence. Because you're able to do that. So when you're creative in that way, it's like you're building your mind.
Right.
So like I constantly, like I'm just that, like I'm that way. Like I have to constantly be like, I mean, I'm not constantly observing things, but what I'm learning.
You love people
now,
watching?
I love people
Me
watching.
too.
And I love to like analyze everything. So it's more like when they say, I mean, I'll never forget, when someone makes fun of you, it's because they like you. You're appreciating them. You're appreciating their differences, making them feel comfortable.
It's good to be different. Shoot, for a lot of my life, I thought it was bad to be different, but only the past few years, I'm like, oh, it's good to be different. You gotta
exactly. I agree with that.
Stick yourself out there. And it's crazy because I've known you since, like, we rode the bus together.
I know.
So I was probably in third or fourth grade. You were in kindergarten.
Harry Stone
Montessori.
I know. The Bulldogs. Oh my gosh.
Man.
Yeah, that was so long ago. Zoom walk. I remember that. I remember taking the bus. But from then, and then we went to Bishop Dunn together.
We did go to Bishop Dunn.
Yeah, so I feel like we definitely know the same people. So it's really cool to see, like, to see you or to see people we grew up with and see what they're doing now. And like a lot of us are doing creative things or have our own businesses. And
that's another thing I've noticed in Oak Cliff specifically, is there's a lot of entrepreneurs in our area, and that's probably the way it is all over, just with all the tools we have available to us to use.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, I think it's allowing Oak Cliff, it's letting Oak Cliff have more oomph behind their creations, because they can show them on social media, and it just helps bring them to light.
Yeah, for sure. I think that because Oak Cliff's getting a lot of bad rap because gentrification and all the businesses, but because of social media and because of our friends who grew up in Oak Cliff, like we don't want to leave, right? Like we want to thrive on how Bishop Arts is growing. So like I think if we didn't have that creativity behind social media and like building each other up, like you help your friends get get acknowledged, get represented, and that's what's really important, is word of mouth, is making sure that you're present, you're representing, like we are from Oak Cliff, and we want to have our businesses here. So and I think people really like that. I can tell that I would say that with Debbie Does Disco, with OCCA, Oak Cliff Coalition for the Arts, we all have the same passion, and I think when you have that passion with our friends or with you, it's very addicting. I've had so many different lessons, and one of the lessons is definitely, you know, the law of attraction. So the energy you give out as the energy you give it that you receive back. It's like I experience that all the time. You know, with you guys, like, you know, it can be as easy as just like looking at someone in their eyes and smiling and really listening to them and asking questions and you know, like, or like the vibe that you put out with your podcast of like lifting people up and like being and recognizing them, you know, like it's just like the networking and everything, and you know, it's genuine relationships, and I don't know how to be any different. Like I can't. If you give out a genuine positive attitude, you're gonna get it back, and if you give out a negative, untrusting attitude, you're gonna get that back too. And then people will shut off, and you won't get the results that you want.
Right, being fake and being real. There's a difference.
For real.
Doing it for the right reasons or doing it for the wrong reasons. You can tell that stuff real quick when you're talking to somebody just in this sphere of things, media. It's especially, I feel like creators are really good at picking up on that. And you just touched on the Oak Cliff Coalition of Art.
For the arts,
For the arts. Now, how do you apply your creative mindset and skills in that regard with that company?
Okay, so switching gears, one of the things, oh my God, I want to bring this up.
Go
So
ahead.
like,
The
you know
floor
when
is
you
yours.
switch topics, so my friend, she's gonna love this. She's like, whenever because you know, like you get with your friends, you talk about like 100 different things. So we like to say click, click. So click, click, we're gonna switch topics.
Okay.
So, and that's just like a conversation breaker. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God, please do. I can't wait. So click, click, we're gonna switch to OCCA, Oak Cliff Coalition for the Arts. And this is definitely a different monster, a different organization. Like, you know, for the past almost 3 years, we've been doing Debbie Does Disco, and it's all like, you know, word of mouth. It's all organic. It's, you know, there's like some hood behind it. There's a lot of passion, and it's whatever we want. We have underground, and we like, it's whatever it can be. It's very like uncensored sometimes. And so now switching to Oak Cliff Coalition for the Arts, this is an organization that my mom has been the founder of for the past 30 years. So it's a community organization, nonprofit. She has long-standing relationships with the city, with the schools, the organizations. It's always on Jefferson Boulevard. So I go and I walk the block with her, and everybody knows Xiomara. Everyone knows her. They're like, I'm either going to get involved or I'm not going to get involved with these events. So definitely Areli and I. Areli's the creative director with Debbie Does Disco. I help manage everything else. But like, you know, we are the yin and yang of Debbie Does Disco, because we can't do one without the other. So with Debbie, everything we learned, we brought to OCCA.
Okay.
So now we're fully managing the social media. But with what we learned, it's like everything's very literal. So, you know, Debbie's like, if you know, you know. And I mean, without it being like so little, but like there's a point behind it, right? Because when you're selling something, you have to put what, why, where, when, right? Your audience really has to know what they're buying into. Okay. Because in this different kind of platform, you know, if you're asking them to pay for something, you got to be very clear on what the offering is, right? If they're going to pay for a $250 sponsorship, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. From how long am I going to be in this social media, in this magazine? How many people is it going to circulate to? Okay. So it's we're learning a lot, and we're taking this opportunity because, you know, of course we want to learn this, and we want to bring it back to Debbie for whatever makes sense. Right. So Oak Cliff Coalition for the Arts, their community events. There's murals that are on the side of Jerry's Supermarket, and those were all commissioned by OCCA in the past. Yeah, and the original ones. So definitely, like, our creative minds come, and it's like, oh, let's do another mural. Let's do this. Like, who can, like, you know, how can I bring like our network and bring it and like really bring your, you know, events alive. But with that also, and I really like we've learned, you know, she has her network that she has built for 30 years, you know, the relationships. So I come in and I have like, I've been doing Debbie, I've been networking with all these creatives who are like my age, and but OCCA is from when you're born till you're an elder, you know. So it's this markets that I'm not so familiar with, so I can't discount them. So me coming in, like, you know, I come in pretty confident coming from Debbie, but I'm like, oh dang, like I only bring this much to the plate, you know, and I gotta I gotta slow my roll, and I gotta learn from it. So like, you know, that's what OCCA is. So we're managing the marketing, but you know, we've already doubled in followers, you know, like because we're connecting all the social medias together, you know, like there's a lot that should be credited to social media, because that's how you get your name out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think it was you, Nancy, how, we live in a age where there's going to be a lot of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on social media, like just wacky stuff, but there really is an opportunity for real things to make a difference, to evolve, and it's real and raw. And the beginning of anything is going to be crazy in the beginning, but like I like to say, the cream will always rise to the top. So if you just stay consistent with it, it's just going to keep growing on the Oak Cliff Coalition of Arts for the arts. And Debbie does this go. It's going to keep going and going and going.
Yeah, I think so. It can only grow. It can only get better. And for anyone that has events and you know, we've met. I never thought that we'd be doing like events, like club events, or you know, parties. I mean, I definitely think. I mean, I love the whole underground, like, you know, keeping it. So that's one thing we've had opportunity, like everyone wants to collaborate. Everyone wants, you know, like everyone wants a piece of Debbie. So we would say, right? Not just like everyone wants a piece of Debbie, and but you know, like respectfully, like, you know, with like, you know, keeping it respectfully. But I think that when you make decisions, it always has to be the best decision. Like, you know, going back to like, how often are we gonna do this, right? Are we gonna do this that often? It's gonna lose how special it is. And you know, also it's when someone says, "Hey, I want to collaborate with you," well, what does that mean? You know, you have to ask those questions. When you want to collaborate with me, you know, definitely like, if you say yes right away, you know, you want to take more pride in like how special this is.
It's got to fit the right vibe.
It has to fit the right vibe. And it's like, okay, when you say that, what do you mean by that exactly?
Are you just jumping on it because it's hot right now, or what's the deal?
Or you know, and because it's fun, and like I said, the law of attraction. So when you do something, like, I get it. I love to be around good people. I like, you know, and like I'm just drawn to them. But you experience that with. If you do that, you got to give people a chance to grow too on their own, with, you know, respectfully, because it's a lot of work, you know, to build this idea and this brand. And when you start collaborating a lot, it's, you know, we're still growing. You know, we're still trying to figure things out, and I mean, it's infinite. Like, creativity is infinite. Like, you could do so many things with this just like amazing idea. So I don't even think we've like touched the surface.
Man, I can't wait to see what else you all will have to offer. Now with the corporate, what is the corporate entity that you work with?
Oh, Bergdorf Goodman Online.
Okay, so is there a way that you apply these skills to that as well? Because it seems like it's three very different things.
Yeah. I got my corporate job, got my after hours passionate job, and then like I got my community job. But and you know, like when you're doing so many things, like time management is like your best friend, which I'm learning. And I'm listening to career therapy sessions, because for a long time, like it's almost like you think you can get by doing things the way you've always done them.
Preach now, girl, time management. Yeah, I feel you.
And you don't want to give up on anything, but I have had my moments where it's like, oh, I love this, but I can't give up this. And you know, one of the people who is the one who like knocked me down to size was my father, and he has his own private practice. He's an attorney, and it's like I would love to work for my family, right? Like I feel way fulfilled by that. But he keeps telling me, no, you're not gonna work. I'm not gonna pay you to work for me.
And he's a legend. He's known like he's Oak Cliff legend.
Yeah, and he's built his business, and that lesson was, you know, like I still have structure that I need to learn, and I need to realize that I can't jump from one thing to one thing because I'm still growing here.
Right.
And I love my job. It's digitally innovative, like the top luxury company, retail company. All they're doing is expanding and growing on their digital platform, and because they're growing and evolving and keeping up with the e-commerce, everything's transferring to e-commerce. Like all the opportunities are just growing. So I have so much to learn from that, from just the industry itself. And I still have a passion with fashion apparel. I still have a passion with learning business, learning analytics, and learning. I want to develop those type of skills. Like I have to, and I haven't gotten it. I haven't mastered that yet. So I'm not going to leave something until I'm completely, I feel comfortable, because you're living like the perfect opportunity that has structure behind it. Yeah. You
speak from such a great place of wisdom when you talk about these things, because for you it's normal to talk like this, but the common people, you don't find them. Oh, I'm just going to wait because I want to make sure that this is done this way and this is right. So I would like to commend you on your wisdom. That's awesome.
I wasn't always like this, and definitely I think everyone learns, feedback.
You've always had great style, I'll give you that. I know that for a fact.
Thank you. Yeah, that's like, your passion always shows when it really is your passion, but I'll say that I learned, like when I speak the way I do, it's really like a mirror of someone else teaching me to be this way. Or if I admire someone, or like someone that I want to be at that level, like I follow their tone, I follow their movements.
Wow,
and that's what we should do to grow. So like I said, I wasn't, I've been wanting to leave. I get frustrated, but I'm also the type of person, like I'm not going to leave until like I prove my point. Like I will tell you, like in this small team that I have, I was telling Nancy, it is very challenging, and the bar has been raised with the e-commerce being so important, like the transfer, the shift from brick and mortar to e-commerce. So now that this e-commerce part of the company is expanding and growing, and I've been telling my friends this because I've been feeling the pressure, the roles have been opening. So HR, so top talent is being hired. And I'm feeling it, like now I'm just like, oh my God, am I going to be that old lady that gets pushed out? Like, and I feel it. And there have been a few people that have actually left the company. And I don't know for whatever reasons, but the bar has been raised. And am I going to leave when the bar is raised, or am I going to wait?
Wow.
And I told my dad this, and he was like, you better stay, you know? So, and I told him, I was like, I am going to stay because, like I said, the structure that's there for me. It's been years since I've been at UNT. We went to UNT also.
We went to UNT together.
We went to UNT also.
Jesus Christ.
Best school. Definitely a school that you grow from. And from Fry Street. Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's been years since I graduated, and if top talent is new graduates, or it doesn't even have to be new graduates. It's probably people who have still kept those skills from college. And it's like, if top talent is like up here and I have the opportunity to prove myself to be at that point, like I'm not gonna leave until I do that.
Man, that's
awesome.
Like
this past year realization.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Everything you said, I love it. I love it all. I would like to I lost my train of thought because
we started talking about UNT.
No, there were so many things that I wanted to mention, but it'll come back to me. What we'll do here is click. We'll go to the 3 questions I ask every guest, regardless of, it's kind of like little icebreakers here. So since we're on the Debbie Does Disco, man, I almost say like Debbie Does Dallas, like almost every single time.
I know, my dad does it, and I'm like, you better not say it that way. When you talk, and he loves making that mistake. He's like, Debbie Does Dallas, I mean disco. And I'm like, can you stop doing that? And it's in front of business people. I'm like, because everyone knows what
it's a dad joke.
Yeah, it is a dad joke. Dad's in the house, represent.
Yeah. So what are you jamming to right now in the car? What kind of music you listening to? What kind of vibe are you jamming? You got a playlist you rock or?
Playlist. So I'm I go to my friend's hair salon. They're like, oh, play some music, because I do love music, and I do have a good taste in music. I have to say. But lately I've been following like my favorite artists, and they have like track IDs that's on Spotify. I do Spotify. That's my streaming platform.
Same.
So Gui, I don't even know what to say right. Gui Barato, like I was listening to him before, and he they do like I guess I'm on like the disco train right now, and I love disco, but I can switch it up. I'll listen to Spanish music. I was listening to the Tejano music. I was listening to old I can't stop listening to Selena when I listen to Selena, and then I go into like La Tropa F, and and then I get into my roots, and I guess because I've been on Jefferson a lot, like all I want to do is listen to it's really it's sentimental for me to listen to that music. So like I said, music evokes feelings. But that was the last person I was listening to. I wish I had something else to say.
And what was his name again?
Gui Barato.
I'm gonna look that up because I'm a
I will.
Spotify
I'll send you some songs. I
I
love
like
sharing
listening to new
music.
things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you?
What am I jamming to
Yeah.
right now? So right now I'm listening to a playlist called Opportunity that I have created or am beginning to create. It's got 22 tracks now. When I work like with the insurance job, I like to listen to music that doesn't have words because it helps me get in the zone. And I like to, you know how when you let a playlist finish, it'll go off and do its own thing and get some more songs. So
it'll sync. It'll sync to what it thinks you want to listen to. Yeah.
Yes, and I have to say I stole that idea from Nancy because she told me about that idea. I was like, that's a good idea. So
yeah, and then you start liking, then you start building your playlist. Like I would say that when I was in high school, and I would just get in front of YouTube and then find songs that way, and then but I haven't done that in so long. Yeah. So the syncing thing works for me.
Okay, I like that. Thank you for asking what I listen to. Not a lot of people return the question, so thank you.
I want to know what everyone's listening to.
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate that. What is your favorite place to go eat at?
What is my favorite place to go eat at? Oh boy.
It don't have to be vague. You can just say like that. This question might get taken out of the icebreakers because it's always a stumper.
Yeah, well, because it's when you ask a girl where she wants to go eat, she never knows where to go. And like I don't want to pull out my phone, but I have to say, I have to it always comes up, and then no one ever decides. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna think of just around my hood or whatever. Like I love LCI tacos. That's always good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're spoiled with good Mexican food. I mean, I love El Catrin on Jefferson. Have you been yet?
I've never been there.
It's really good. They have all breakfast tacos. They put nopales in their tacos, which is really good. And they have menudo, and they have caldo. I mean, I love La Calle 12. I'm over here giving them free marketing right now. But they have really good food. And I will always say I don't go there all the time because I feel like it's like a high school reunion. So I definitely don't take a date there.
Okay,
but I love 303. 303 has bomb food. Like they have the best burgers. What are your favorite places?
Favorite place in Oak Cliff, I'll probably give love to Herrera's.
Herrera's, okay.
Off at Inwood.
Nice.
I think it's Inwood. It's over there by
it's like the edge
West
of West Dallas. Yeah,
West Dallas. Trinity Girls, I call it West Dallas.
What do you get from there?
The margaritas are good.
Okay.
I like to get the three.
I get the margaritas.
The 3 enchiladas. I get the fajita nachos.
Yeah.
Everything there is good.
Yeah, I love Tex-Mex.
LCI, I love LCI.
Oh, LCI is really good.
The guy, Anthony, I've met him at a few events at Four Corners Brewery. Okay. He's a real cool guy, and he's a genius with their marketing on Instagram and TikTok.
And he's with John. Also does like all that too, right? John in the Four Corners.
John B.
Yeah. Yeah, I see them. They're cool.
I'm a big fan of Anthony's marketing on LCI. Like, I encourage you to follow his TikTok.
I have not seen it.
It's good. You know what? I'm thinking of the wrong place.
I know.
Anthony's gonna be pissed off. El Norteño is the tacos off by where my old house was.
Wait, what's his second name?
I don't know his last name, but it's El Norteño. I'm gonna say El Norteño.
Is it where
he
puts Is it where he puts? I know, Dave.
Edit out.
He puts like the hot Cheetos and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, he does a really good job of marketing.
El Norteño. Sure. That's my favorite taco spot. LCI.
Cool.
Anthony.
Where is El Norteño?
It's off of Dave. Do you know the exact street? It's kind of by Rudy's. What's the street that Rudy's is on?
Rudy's Chicken?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's down the street from there. So if you go to Rudy's,
see, I love Rudy's.
man, Anthony's gonna be pissed on the street. El Norteño on Instagram and TikTok. So make
Okay,
sure.
cool, yeah.
See, you're asking me the questions. I'm over here getting stumped on my own question.
I thought this was about
Lancaster.
me.
On Lancaster.
Oh, okay, cool. Just kidding.
The last question on this part is, I better think of my answer before you give an answer.
I know, because I'm going to ask you about it.
What's a show you're watching right now, or a favorite movie that you're watching that, you know, when you do have some downtime, you watch for maybe some creative inspiration?
I don't like, Mondays are like my movie nights because that's like after like all the chaos of the week and the weekend. I watch, and I won't shut up about it, but I love West Side Story.
Okay.
Like the new West Side Story, I finally watched it. Like I know, it's so typical because I'm Maria. But, and I cried and everything. I cried a couple times. I told all my friends about it. And West Side Story, the new one, it's directed by, I didn't even know it was Steven Spielberg. And so, like, I love the old original West Side Story. Like, they had like a symphony orchestra play with the movie playing in the background at the AT&T, and that was like, it was like I'll never forget that. But I grew up on plays. Like my Bethel actually played. Like they had West Side Story, Bishop Dunn. Yeah, he was in it, and I love the new one. Is actually very good. It's very modern.
I've never seen the original.
Oh my God,
God,
Robert,
it's like a crime.
what is wrong with you?
Know.
But the original is really good. I mean, I love plays. So it's that, just like the creativity that's behind that. I love watching plays. Like The Sound of Music is one of my like favorite too. Her name's Maria too. I don't know if you knew that.
Gold, a deer, a female deer.
Yeah.
Ray,
yes.
a golden sun.
See, he knows what's up. But musicals, I guess those are my inspirations. But I mean, I love horror films. Horror films are really creative too. I was watching some old 70s horror. Suspiria is a really great creative horror film. So, I mean, creativity is infinite. Like, I can get into film too,
Yeah,
you know?
any and everything.
Yeah. What about you, Robert?
I was waiting. I like to watch, right now I'm watching the show Atlanta, created by Donald Glover.
Go.
I love just the writing,
he's amazing.
whole cinematography. I mean, it's just layers and layers of just genius.
I need to see it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. What season is on now? 3 or 4?
3.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that he, what, it directed or wrote.
Oh man, I
Atlanta,
highly encourage you
nice.
to watch Atlanta.
I saw, I had an appreciation even more for him whenever I saw the movie with him and Rihanna.
Dang,
Have you
that's on
not
my
seen
list
that?
of things
It's
to watch.
Guava Island.
It's a musical,
Guava Island.
or it's like a
Guava
song.
Island.
Or...
It is. See, a musical.
Yeah.
Like I can't help but love musicals. You know what I mean? So like you need to watch that.
Okay, it's
and
on
I
my
don't know
list.
if like I don't know if guys are like, oh, I don't want to watch like romantic stuff, but it's so
No,
good if you love him.
I'm open to all that.
It's
yeah.
it's amazing. I love that. So you know, I keep going back to musicals, but it's really good.
Okay, I'll check that
He
out.
definitely steals the movie. Like Rihanna's, you know, she's
I'm
you
not
know
surprised.
yeah,
I mean, she's beautiful, but Donald Glover is like he's a monster, man.
crazy.
He's very talented.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember what I was going to mention. I love how passionate you are about your family. You mentioned you would love to work for your dad, and like you're doing all these things that will help you one day work for the family, and that's awesome to me. I think that's a big part of Oak Cliff culture and just the Latin culture is being so closely knit with family, and I think that helps you be who you are. And I've known your family forever. Like my brother and Chimba were like in the same grade.
Friends,
Like, they were friends in class.
I think they might have been in basketball together. I don't know.
I think
sure.
they were in basketball
or football
too.
or something.
Yeah, and I've known Roberto my whole life, so like it's
Yeah.
cool to see like just your family is a good family, and that's I wanted to tell you that because you know you don't have too many families like that in this day and age. So I wanted to commend you on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, my brothers are everything to me. We grew up very close to each other. I had the same bedroom as my older brother. We're 2 years apart. So and you know, when I learned that people don't have close relationships with their siblings, I just like, I could not, like, I can't even imagine. I'm probably like an overbearing sister. Like, I'll go over and like look in their bedroom, like, you know, y'all need to clean up or something, or, you know, we're definitely there for each other. I don't want to say that I'm there, you know, it's definitely a balance,
Right.
but it really is also, like I said, it's contagious to be loving, to be you know, nurturing and loving. And my younger brother Chema, he lived in Austin for a couple years, and we really didn't have much of a relationship. So like when he came back, I was like, oh my god, I got my brother back.
Yeah.
You know, like I just wanted to be with him all the time and like invite him everywhere. And like I took him out and I was like, this is my brother, everybody. Like I literally was doing that. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I like appreciated and loved and like I observed is like with my girlfriends, you know, I have a group of girlfriends, and you know, like not everybody grows up with like a loving family or
Right.
like even a brother or male
Right.
figures in their life.
Right.
So I'm really proud to say that he kind of came and showed like a very respectful, like gentleman side, like to them. And
That's
so
awesome.
like, you know, when your family, even if you don't grow up with like a loving family, like I got a family, like I'm more than willing to like love you guys,
Yeah.
you know.
Of course.
And I have some friends that like it's like holidays come around, like I don't know what it's like to not live in the same city. I actually like, it's a goal of mine to at least live in another city for like a year or two. Like I want to do that just to get that experience. I don't want to lose out on that opportunity. But Easter, any holiday, you know, I have a friend or two that doesn't have family here, you know, come on over to our family's house, like more than willing to, like, we got food, we can chill. We're all adults, we don't have kids yet, but I'm waiting for my brothers to, you know, do that so I can be at the
Sound like somebody I know. Somebody I know that said something very similar to that not too long ago. That's funny.
But yeah, how about you? Like, I know that you're close with your brother. I actually listened to your
Yeah.
podcast. Someone interviewed you, and you know, I know that you have a brother, and you said that he, you know, he motivated you and he changed your life, and I remember listening to that, and that, like, I could relate to that.
My brother is, I mean, I'm very close to my brother. We're total opposites. He is an introvert. I'm very much a outgoing, extrovert kind of guy. I'll be the first one to say something, but my brother just, the way he goes about his business, he's my younger brother, but man, you talk about just a good dude, like just the nicest guy I've ever met, would never hurt anybody's feelings intentionally ever. And I mean, he's in the perfect career for just that. He's a paramedic, you know, so he, just the way he carries himself as an individual, and you know, even going back to when he played football at Bishop Dunn in college, he's such a hard worker, you know. And I think, like you said, it's contagious. I've always been like the kind of guy, determined, hardworking, and so it's kind of fed to him, and we both just vibe off each other. And my family, I mean, I'm close to my parents. I was blessed to be raised by two people from Oak Cliff that are old souls, I believe, you know. So instill those values and mindsets, and like, this is the way, like, you gotta, everybody has value, you know. Everybody has value. You treat people how you want to be treated, you know. Hard work, like, don't be lazy, like, you know, that just,
like, you learn something you want to share with him, or y'all share it with each other.
And we're open. We have very open dialogue with each other. My parents are not the kind, my mom's not like the overbearing kind of mom. They're good about just giving space and like
treating like adults.
We've always been like that. They've never babied us ever. So you know, they were tough parents. And I think being raised by who they were raised from, I mean, my mom's parents are basically from Mexico, basically. And then my dad's family, his grandpa fled from Germany, you know. So like, it comes from the roots of like immigrants and just that mindset of, you know, hardworking. You know, hardworking. My grandpa on my mom's side, I mean, when they were in West Dallas, they started out like in a train cart. Like, that's where they started out. So to come from that, it's just like, okay, it's my responsibility to see how far can I take it. You know? Whether I have kids or not, that's another factor, me being a dad, but how far can I take it for the next generation of people in my family? Because, okay, well, how far did he go? Now let's see how far we can go to help impact the world. You know, that's what it's all about, you know?
It's like, you can't, not only do you owe it, but it's motivating. You know, my parents for sure too, like they, and that's where your core is from, you know. Like, even when our grandparents and parents are gone, like, their legacy like lives within us, right? And I'm proud to say that the same thing. Like, I'm proud of my parents for all the sacrifices and hard work that they made. And you know, I'm not guilty of not like being like, you know, like taking advantage of my, you know, like luxuries or privileges. You know, like, they did fight, like, you know, work very hard to give us these privileges. Right? And but it's like, I can't take full advantage of that. I want to be the legacy that is like my family and my parents. because I do see their characteristics within me.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I can't. It's within me. Like I want to work hard. I want to work for family.
It's not even like a choice. It's just in there. It's
it's just like
if you
I
don't
want
act
to do
that
it.
way, your soul's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't feel fulfilled.
You're not doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. Last thing here, and I like to ask this at the end because it's the end, and that's what you ask at the end. So if there was a saying you could put out into the world, whether it be something that you follow or something that you've made up on your own, if you could put out into the world and everybody would hear it, and not just hear it, but listen to it and take it for what it's worth, what would that message be?
Gosh, I have so many things. I was even thinking about this before, like, when you invited me, but one of the most recent things, because I've had so many life lessons, like not taking things personally, growing or whatever, but the most recent one that I've really been kind of like that's been motivating me or that I've been thriving on is just pay attention to yourself. Not necessarily but in the best way that you can say that to yourself is I think I've wasted a lot of time comparing myself to others, comparing myself how I should look, comparing I need to have this career, I need to this is the degree I'm getting, this is the job that I should get. And when we're looking at everybody else, it's holding you back, and it's held me back. And I told, there's a lot of things that I said that I just love sharing things with my friends. So I probably already said this to a couple of friends, but I ran a 10K last Monday in Austin, and I've always been wanting to do that. And a 10K is 6 miles. And I had only ran 4 miles, I kind of in the last month, I was like, I'm going to do this. It's a cap 10K. It's like a big old deal. All my cousins have done it. All my, I want to be able to do that. That's my, that's how I've always been. But I was like, I don't want to stop. I was like, I want to finish. I was like, no, I want to go further than that. I just want to stop. So that was the thing. For an hour, right? I was running, and for an hour in my run, I was like, I need to start. I don't listen to music. I don't do any of that. I just need to pay attention to myself.
Wow.
I don't need to look at the person running, because I did used to go on my runs. I was in cross country and everything, and go around Keys, and I'll go around Keys, and I'll be like, oh, I'm passing this girl, I'm better than them, whatever, and it would be motivating. I'm like, why am I even thinking? So, anyways, I'm just switching gears, and I feel it. Now is the time. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I have to focus on myself. If other people around me are, the time is now, and I can't waste any time. I feel it. So with that, focus is really a really big thing for me this year. And what do I need to do to regain my focus that I've lost over the years for whatever reasons. But definitely, I guess my thing is, or what I want to say is to definitely focus on yourself and not compare yourselves to other people.
That's beautiful.
What was this guy? He said, be obsess observe your competition, obsess over your creation, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can you obsess about what you want, and you can observe the competition or things that are in your same industry, but it goes with just focusing on what you really want.
Really and allowing yourself to see from the first person.
Yeah,
because when you see yourself,
because you can get everything. You really can. I don't think I had that motivation when I first started thinking what do I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
And along the way, I thought of all the things why I can't get that, but I really do think that you can get whatever you want.
That's true. That's beautiful. I've been working on that myself this year. Being centered. I was talking about that today. Being centered, because when you're centered, you're able to respond to the external a lot better than when you're focused on the external.
Yeah.
So everything you're saying, I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This was fun.
I appreciate it. And until next time, we will see y'all later. Say bye, Maria.
All right. Bye, Maria.
Awesome. That's it.
Okay, cool.
Good job.
That was fun.
Awesome. Good job.
Thanks.
Thank you.